Hi, good afternoon. This is Jayla Bamba or Jamila, whichever you like to call me. I am going live again. I wanted to go live again, but I'm not. But it's almost like I'm going live. I'm talking into the camera. And I wanted to read some poems that I wrote a while ago. And basically because I feel like wanting to do something. I have been sequestered in my home after I've been diagnosed with COVID last week. So I had to stay home 5 days, no going out. Then when the symptoms slack down, I can go out wearing a well-fitted mask. I have been taking the Paxlovid, this one. This is the last dose that I there. It's like 3 in the day and 3 in the night. They're a combination of 2 antivirals, lidonovir and nirmatrelvir. It's antivirals. One is 300 milligrams, 2 pills, and the other one is 100 milligrams. My symptoms haven't worsened since. I don't have a runny nose still, and my chest, I'm still coughing. I just interrupted the recording and I had to restart it again because I had to cough up some phlegm. So I'm going back to work next Monday. But this staying at home and anxiety and fear, and I have lots of anxiety. I'm actually self-diagnosed with anxiety and little PTS and other things. So when I was a student, nursing student, I noticed some practices I didn't like. As a patient, I noticed some practices I didn't like. And it really scares me that one time I'd be in opposition of that patient in a nursing home being mistreated. When you are mistreated, even when you are in prime health, you know. So I wrote this poem. I entitled it also because the disease, about Mrs. Wilson. Today I'm going to write the second one in my series is Mrs. Wilson's Shots, and it's a series of poems that document in a very atypical way Mrs. Wilson's progress through the labyrinths of Alzheimer's while she is in a long-term facility hospital. Mrs. Wilson is a fictitious name, just because I live in the United States, and most of the patients we encounter are the early Americans. So, and the events do not in no way depict a real patient chart. However, the story was inspired by my clinical experience as a student. Alzheimer's is really a very devastating disease. It's also, most importantly, about the disease itself. I would love that we can research be furthered even further, and lots of really constrained efforts gathered to kind of counteract the effects, devastating effects of Alzheimer's. A person has a right to live longer, healthier, and in a decent life, Okay, so this is what I also wrote in my and posted on my Writers Corner magazine, and in my Writers Corner magazine, I can quote myself: "Is Alzheimer is really a very devastating disease and needs all the efforts in research to find ways to control its processes. better and limit or stop, if not reverse, its noxious effects. The Vegetable was the first poem in this series that I wrote. It's also like mind kind of it takes you in a very not straight path of disease. It overlaps the progression of the disease. Don't be scared. I haven't been diagnosed with any, but I sympathize. I am really fully compassionate, and I wouldn't want to be diagnosed one. Everybody wouldn't want to be diagnosed with a disease that leaves them helpless, but one would hope to fall in real good hands, professional hands, with good conscience, and act in due diligence to protect their patients and allow them pass away or pass on to what next stages of their diseases or the other life with decency. So The Vegetable was the first poem in this series. It was posted in the 7th issue of the Writer's Corner magazine. The Vegetable was the final stop. Mrs. Wilson's her agonies were ended. But I started with that one as a first. So like that, and it's also a little dark. She's not only in a nursing home. She probably was in an acute health facility, being treated for something that's transient and going back. But as she was there, she noticed there was a baby is being born. So death and birth kind of almost like the other coin of each other. Every day, lots of people die. Every day, lots of people get born. So The Vegetable was the final stop. Mrs. Wilson's, where her agonies were ended. The Fall, this one that I'm going to read now, just because that's when I opened the magazine, that's what I saw. I wrote it next, and then that's the one I'm reading. An early stage of disease. This is at the early stage of disease when she just started wondering. Not an early stage, but early stage relative to the chaotic state of she enters in later, and that I described in other poems. And even when I talk to the character about the character, she or feel like they are alive, but that's how a person usually, like when you're talking about the characters you created, you talk to them as if they were about them as if they were alive, as if they were alive. So now here is the poem. The title is The Fall, and I'm going to read this from my computer. Opening it on my webpage, the Writer's Corner magazine. Yeah, I'm knitting the falling pieces, the cracked brown years. Yeah, I'm knitting the sun-dried colors and words. My heart flushes the dried ovaries and uterine that sheds no more, but leaves on my hospital door. An alarm on my ankle gives me away each time I try to reach out to the little slice of pizza on my young hospital's roommate's nightstand. My heart does the same. It sheds sweat and tightens. It has become lazy with the years. My old man thinks my vagina does the same. The once upon a time an entrance to warm humid streams is now a trench in the desert that only sheds pain. I many times looked at his dangling, deflated trunk tube, sneaked into his arm, hid his face in a pillow on my flat chest and let him remember how he loved my bosom. I have to water my plants. Leaves are piling on the ground together with my bark and the now rusted cherry. A carcass on the ground. Oh, how she must envy me. At least I can stand and run around. White fluffy flakes fell on my bare hands and head as Mrs. Nightingale loomed running ahead. Didn't you see the brown leaf and yellow band? She yelled, throwing her head back. And that's it, that's the poem. And it was written by me, Jamila, or Jayla Mamba, whatever you call me. I try to put myself in the mood, in the skin of a woman in that situation in the hospital, kind of confused, a little bit confused, and the nurse catches her and brings her back, and it ends on that note. But my being sick and my voice this way, I guess helped a little bit. Okay, this is what it was, and see you next. Thank you.